First, a deadly shooting in Buffalo, New York, then one closer to home in Orange County. Tonight, many of you are saying enough is enough. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. A rally and vigil against white supremacy and gun violence is taking place tonight at Balboa Park. Our Richard Allen is live there tonight where it's kicking off. Richard?
Well, Marcella and Carlo, let me give you a live look at what is happening right now behind me. Demonstrators beginning to gather here at the fountain outside the Fleet Science Center. This, of course, is in response to the violent weekend of mass shootings we've experienced throughout the U.S. Their message, this senseless violence must end.
Black and brown lives are under attack every single day in America, and especially black lives. And someone just hunted 10 black people to murder, and it's just horrifying.
And this evening's protest here in Balboa Park is in response to the spike in gun violence here in the U.S., specifically the deadly shooting on Saturday at a supermarket in Buffalo, New York. Now, that left 10 people dead and 3 injured. 11 of those 13 victims were African American, and authorities are now investigating the shooting as a racially motivated hate crime carried out by an 18-year-old white man who drove hours to carry out the killings. And just yesterday in Laguna Woods up in Orange County, a 68-year-old man opened fire during a church reception, killing 1 person and injuring 5 others. Now, police say they are investigating that as a hate crime as well. Now, protesters are gathering here in San Diego to say that enough is enough, and they are calling for stricter gun control laws. Let's have a listen.
I'm hoping that at least people can see that there is a community that's here to support them, and I'm hoping more white people show up and don't speak over black and brown folk, but instead lift up their voices and put their bodies in front of them to protect them.
And back out live, people are beginning to show up here at this vigil. It's supposed to get underway right now at 6 p.m. People are still gathering, open to the public, again here outside the Fleet Science Center in Balboa Park. We'll stay on top of this story. We'll bring you the latest at 11 p.m. Carlo, Marcella?
Thank you, Richard. Meantime, in Orange County tonight, sheriff's detectives are calling the shooting at a church reception in Laguna Woods that Richard mentioned a hate crime. One person, 52-year-old Dr. John Cheng, was killed in yesterday's shooting when sheriff's investigators say he tackled the gunman. According to investigators, the 68-year-old shooter drove from Las Vegas to carry out the attack. He's accused of chaining the church doors shut using super glue to disable the locks and then mingling with churchgoers before he started shooting.
It is believed the suspect involved was upset about political tensions between China and Taiwan.
5 other people were injured. The pastor and churchgoers were able to overtake and tie up the gunman until police arrived. Sheriff's investigators say the shooter is a U.S. citizen who had immigrated from China. The guns he used were bought legally in 2015 and 2017.
In Buffalo, New York, investigators say detailed diary entries show an 18-year-old man there had been planning a live-streamed attack on black people for months. He's accused of killing 10 people in the grocery store attack on Saturday. He has pleaded not guilty to murder. Buffalo police say a 180-page manifesto he posted online outlined a so-called Great Replacement theory, claiming white people were being outnumbered by minorities. Authorities are calling Saturday's shooting an act of racially motivated violent extremism. She spent 20 years behind bars for a murder she says she didn't commit, and today charges were dropped against her. Jane Dorotic was accused of killing her husband, Robert. CBS 8's Kelly Hessedal has Dorotic's reaction tonight. Finally a free woman after 2 decades.
Well, Jane Dorotic says she's still taking it all in. She says it feels surreal. Her second trial was supposed to start today, but prosecutors said there wasn't enough evidence to get a conviction. So they asked the judge to dismiss the charges, and he did.
I do believe that the people's motion to dismiss at this time was well taken. Ms. Dorotic, I know this has been a long and painful journey for you. The only real comfort I can give you at this point is to tell you that this part of your journey is over.
What went through your mind when the judge today granted the prosecution's motion to dismiss the charges? What went through your mind right at that moment?
It's still going through my mind. It continues. It just is overwhelming to realize that now I can determine my own future. It's something I've prayed for and hoped for.
And that was Dorotic talking to us just moments after murder charges were dropped against her. She is now a free woman. She hugged her attorneys, thanked them. This is the moment she's been waiting for 20 years. She is now 75 years old. She spent 2 decades in prison for the murder of her husband, Robert. Prosecutors say she beat him to death in their Valley Center home and dumped his body on the side of the road. Dorotic has always maintained her innocence. Last year, her conviction was overturned after there was newly discovered DNA evidence that excluded her from the crime scene. However, the district attorney's office continued pursuing a second trial. Dorotic describes this journey as torture. Her defense attorneys implied a plea deal may have been offered at one point. First, you'll hear from Dorotic and then from one of her attorneys.
I love Bob. I love him still. And I will simply say to accept any kind of a plea bargain would have been a betrayal to me, to my family, to the community, and a betrayal to the criminal justice system, because this is why these things continue, because people cave. And there's many times I've wanted to cave, but it's not right.
This was a poorly investigated case from the start. It was incompetently investigated, and it demanded dismissal. It's demanded dismissal for many years, and we finally got it today.
Now, the judge dismissed this case without prejudice, which basically means charges can be brought against Dorotic again someday should new evidence be uncovered. However, it's unlikely. Dorotic says she's looking to the future, and she's just looking forward to spending time with family in Florida. Kelly Hessedall, CBS 8.
We're now learning the name of a 40-year-old Border Patrol agent killed in a car crash near the border. Daniel Salazar's body was found next to his damaged vehicle on an embankment alongside a rural road south of the 94 just before 6 last Friday morning. Salazar lived in Santee. He leaves behind a wife and children. The circumstances of the crash, including when it happened, are still under investigation. Officials say he worked a patrol shift the previous evening. Tonight, police are looking for the person who shot and killed a man in City Heights just before dawn today. Officers found the victim at the intersection of 35th Street and Orange Avenue just before 4:30 this morning. The man died at the scene. Police have not released his name. We're only being told that he was a 52-year-old black man. They're early in the investigation, but tell us they don't have much information about what led up to the shooting. Just hours ago, a woman accused of taking part in a road rage shooting in Chula Vista pleaded not guilty. Prosecutors say 19-year-old Serenity Nieblas was driving and helped her boyfriend, Giulio Repetto, escape the incident on Olympic Parkway and Town Center Drive earlier this month. She's facing charges that include attempted murder. Repetto has pleaded not guilty to attempted murder. The man who was shot survived.
A man that led law enforcement on a chase in a stolen vehicle is in custody tonight. It happened this morning in North County. Investigators say Carlsbad police tried to pull over Brandon Scroggins, who was driving a stolen Ford Explorer, but he sped off, leading police on a chase. Scroggins already had an active felony warrant out for his arrest. Sheriff's deputies took over once they hit Encinitas. The chase went through Rancho Santa Fe and ended in Escondido. Scroggins tried getting away by running through some trees. Escondido police, along with sheriff's deputies, arrested him just a few minutes later. Right now, some San Diego residents are owed thousands of dollars. Maybe you're one of them. The city wants to give that money back. Today, the city announced there's more than $840,000 in unclaimed taxes or overpaid fees. They say residents are eligible for a refund anywhere between $1 and $77,500. To find out if you are on the list for a refund, just go to sandiego.gov/finance/unclaimed. Maybe you'll be lucky.
Maybe. The company at the center of the nationwide baby formula shortage could soon start producing formula again, but it will take time to impact the shortage.
Today, the FDA announced that Abbott has agreed to a deal that will reopen its manufacturing plant in Michigan. If a court approves the agreement, Abbott could restart the site within the next 2 weeks. After that, it will take 6 to 8 weeks for the products to reach store shelves. Abbott makes about 40% of all baby formula sold in the U.S. It was forced to shut down in February due to safety concerns after allegations of data falsification.
The FDA is working closely with Abbott to bring the facility back online safely. That's the key here, safely.
Meanwhile, the White House says it is working with other formula makers to increase their supplies. The FDA is also working to increase imports of formula from overseas.